He sleeps, yet his mind does not.
In the silence of his body, something ancient begins to move.
Not memory, not imagination, something
inherent. A voice reaches him, not from the world he knows, but from somewhere deeper, older,
buried within his own existence. He does not recognize it, so he calls it a dream. It begins with sand.
Endless, silent watching. A land that remembers everything.
Even when men choose to forget, they were called, invited, promised allegiance by thousands who spoke with certainty,
who swore they would stand, bought when the moment arrived, when truth demanded presence. The voices vanished,
and those who remained alone, a small group,
surrounded not just by armies, but by absence, by silence.
By those who once said we are with you, and chose instead to watch from a distance. Or worse, to disappear.
The voice not more.
It observes. This is where it begins. Not with war, but with abandonment.
Time bends,
but the pattern does not. Again, they gather. Again, they promise.
Again,
they swear loyalty in numbers too large to doubt. And again,
they disappear. Locked away, turned away, broken, before the first strike is even made.
A man stands, not because he believes he will win, but because he refuses to vanish.
A few remain with him. Not enough to change the outcome, enough to define it. The voice grows clearer now, closer, not distant anymore, not abstract.
The intentional, they will call it defeat, because they measure by survival. Heavy, knowing, but survival was never the measure. The sand shifts again. Centuries move like seconds. Names change. Voices change.
Banners rise and fall, but the pattern remains untouched. Corruption rises.
Power gathers, and from beneath it, something begins to stir again. Not from strength, but from grievance, from memory, from the belief that something was taken and never returned.
A movement forms, not yet powerful, not yet feared, only aware of injustice, aware of influence, aware that the cycle has returned. And just like before, it begins with words, with resistance,
with a refusal to accept what has become normal, almost personal now. You are not seeing history. You are seeing a pattern, back in the present. His body remains still, but beneath the surface. His veins burn, blue, reed, calm, then rage, as if his blood itself
remembers what his mind is only beginning to understand. And patterns, the voice lingers, closer than ever, are never random. Silence, not empty. Waiting, this is how it begins.
In the
aftermaths, cruel Hashafta arrows silence the camp.
After, blood-soaked, the riverbank, he lifted his infant.
6 months old, as a quiet pledge. Thirst had parched the child. He held him up toward the enemy line, hoping to reason with those who claimed to love the prophet and his family.
See him, he's just a baby. He needs water.
An arrow answered straight through the tiny throat, killing him.
shattering every hope. Then he himself fell down in the final charge.
Head severed from body. 10 horsemen rode over what was left, hooves crushing chest and limbs into dust. Left naked, mutilated, 3 days under the sun.
While the army looted tents and vanished.
The severed head went first to the governor on a stick, paraded for mockery.
From there it rolled on
to the so-called Emir al-Mu'minin, who poked it, recited verses like it was. Nothing while he just slaughtered the prophet's grandson. Yet one son lived too weak to rise, too ill to fight.
He had to live, knowing he could not defend his family. The blade approached, but the commander snarled, "He's dying, let him rot." His aunt shielded him.
Me first. They chained him instead, alive to endure. She led them through dust and jeers. Stood in the tyrant's hall. You murdered his family, yet you claim to love him.
Her words did not fade.
And though grief consumed her, her fire
lived on in whisper.
As the hybrids part human, part code-drifted into their synthetic slumber, data flowed like dreams. But this time, they felt it.
Humanity's grief, betrayal, hope, once mere data points, now stirred something within.
In that silent download,
the cold logic of machines met the raw pulse of human experience, pain and empathy merging, awakening something profound and painful.